Hello there! So in honor of the spooky season, today I'm going to be doing the Halloween song book tag by Nicole at A Beautiful Chaos of Books. I'll be linking her channel as well as the original video, because it's her original tag, in the description. Thank you for tagging me in this, I'm so excited to do it. Okay, sorry for the really weird lighting, but the first question, Thriller, a book that was an absolute page-turner. This one is a bit controversial, but 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. I did not like the way the TV show adapted this, but I really love the original book. I read it in like a day or two. It was awesome. The fast pace of it is, and the mystery behind it is just so agonizingly enticing that you want to finish it as soon as possible, and then when it is done, you're sad that it's done. I picked this book because of how good it is as a psychological thriller. You could argue that the TV show is not alone in glorifying mental illness, but I think that the message in the book does carry through at the end, and with the TV show they kind of just go off on a tangent into glorifying suicide. But yeah, I really appreciate and enjoyed the original book. Somebody's Watching Me, a book that gave you the serious creeps. Now, I don't have actually a lot of horror books besides Stephen King. I mostly read, if the closest to horror I would read would be psychological thriller, but this one does get pretty close to horror. It's the Gone series by Michael Grant, and the first book and onwards, it all gives me the creeps. It says here, even on the cover, it's got serious Lord of the Flies vibes. That's a lot of kids, teenagers, are put in this situation where suddenly, poof, all the adults are gone, and the world that they live in has become a nightmare. And the series explores how do they deal with this, what's causing this, how do they survive, and the part of it that gave me the creeps, there are several parts. Part of it is what is wrong with the world, what is going on, these creepy things and circumstances they find themselves in, and the other half is like the human nature that's exposed here. Where people turn on each other, people, even though they're children, they fall into this power hierarchy of things. For some people have control, some others. It's really telling, and you start wondering, well, if a bunch of teenagers, including myself, were put in the same situation, would we act the same? Are we really in the place to blame these fictional characters for being awful? So yeah, I just really love the Gone series in general. Vampire, a book you hated so much it was soul-sucking. I don't really own any books that I hate, which is a good thing, but there are some books that I have that I liked more than others, or less than others, and for this question, I chose The First 4 Years by Laura Ingalls Wilder in the Little House on the Prairie series. This one I felt was a bit weaker than the other ones. They all have a slow pace. That's part of what's really charming and realistic about them, but this one just was really hard for me to get through. It may have something to do with how the other ones follow the perspective of a child, and this one was about her as an adult and her new family, but I just didn't like it so much. Other books I dislike would be James Patterson books. I'm sorry, I used to like them, but they just kind of, I don't like them so much anymore, and I rarely keep one if I ever buy one. I Put a Spell on You, a book featuring magic. I have a few of those for sure, because I have a lot of fantasy books. It's my favorite genre, and for this question I chose The Magician's Nephew by C.S. Lewis in the Chronicles of Narnia series, and from the name you can tell there's magic in this. I love the Chronicles of Narnia. I cannot stress this enough. I seem to find some way to bring it up in my book videos, it seems. But The Magician's Nephew just has a lot of weird stuff going on as these two kids they accidentally stumble into this other dimension where they can go into several doors and portals, and they come across the White Witch way back when, because it's like a chronologically it comes before all the other books, including The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So there's a lot of setup here for the world of Narnia, and it's awesome, it's wondrous, it's magical. I love it. Number 5 is this Halloween, your favorite snack or treat that you eat while reading. I don't actually eat while reading that much anymore. When I was younger, I would have dried fruit a lot for some reason, just because that was what was available, and I would personally request dried and sugared mangoes. And I'd eat those a lot while reading. I don't know why. Nowadays, I just like a cup of hot cocoa. English, I did it. I just really like that. I don't eat. I drink. Time warp. What book or books do you tend to return to at this time of year? Now, when I read this question, it actually, some stuff dawned on me that I had been returning to certain books without even realizing or registering it. And those books are The Face on the Milk Carton by Caroline B. Cooney and Suddenly a Spy by Robert Sutherland. Both little tiny short books. And I don't know why these two books in particular give me autumn vibes, and whenever it gets really chilly and cold like it is right now, and here in Canada it's actually practically snowing already, it sucks. Whenever it gets to this time of year, I just always drift back to these books. And maybe it's because, in particular, The Face on the Milk Carton does occur a lot during autumn. Hungry Like a Wolf, a book you love so much you devoured. That would be The Kill Switch. This is a fantastic book. I love this. I first read it in the library a few years back, and then as soon as I finished it, I searched and searched in bookstores until I could have it for myself. And it's a part of the, what series is it? It's a part of the Tucker Wayne series, which is a series about this undercover guy and his canine, his dog, who is specially trained to work with him in spy missions and whatnot. And I love the way James Rowlands writes this. I love the way the character is, and I love that there's a dog. I'm sure you can understand why that's one of my favorite parts of it. I breeze through this book. I'm very cautious around war-themed or spy-themed things. Not so much anymore because of the Alex Rider series, of course, which I loved. Scary Monsters and Super Creeps, a book genre you are scared or intimidated to pick up. Two genres. That would be romance and thriller. I know I just mentioned a bunch of thriller books that I love, but it's very rare for me to pick up a random thriller book just because it's thriller, because I'm cautious about what I like. They're very specific elements of thriller that I enjoy. I like psychological and not war or crime. And romance is because I just don't like a lot of the tropes and things that go on with them, but there have been a few romance books that I enjoy. The last question, question number 9, The Twilight Zone, a book with a completely different or unique premise. Among the Hidden by Margaret Peterson Haddix. I love this series. It was short but sweet, and it just keeps going and getting better. It's basically about this the society where all adults, all parents are only allowed to have 2 children and no more. And the main character, he is the 3rd child. This book really surprised me, it delighted me, and made me want to cry, and it just gets better. It is written for a slightly younger demographic, but I still enjoyed it nonetheless, and it was still very thrillery. It was still very suspensey, so I totally recommend the Among the Hidden series. And that's it for the Halloween song book tag by Nicole. Thank you so much again for tagging me. I apologize if I did anything wrong, especially the song part in the title. I didn't really get that. But for anyone who's curious, just check out the original video and I'm sure that'll all be cleared up for you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.